So you may know him as the king of rock and roll, but our next guest knows him as his stepbrother. Cody standing by this morning with a new book from Elvis's stepbrother.
Indeed.
This is incredible.
Billy Stanley joining us right now to tell us some Elvis stories. Billy, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing great, Cody. How about you?
Doing great. You know, I've been to Graceland 9 times, 6 times for work, the rest for decorating tips.
Okay.
But you actually live there, right?
Right. Yeah. In 1960, when his father remarried, we moved to Graceland, my brothers and I did. And we was with Elvis up until he passed away, 17 years.
Amazing.
Wow. And he was really open and accepting you guys when you came, right?
Yes. Well, here's how he welcomed us to the family. He tucked us into bed that night, and we didn't learn till later in life that he really wasn't an early morning person, but he comes running into the bedroom the next day, and it was like a fire drill. Come on, boys, you got to go, you got to go. And we started looking for our clothes. We had our pajamas on. He said, you don't have time for that. So he takes my youngest brother and puts him on his shoulders and takes my brother Rick and I by the hands. And we walk out to the backyard, and there was 3 of every kind of toy you could think of.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, this guy's Santa Claus.
Oh, wow.
So that was the beginning of our relationship, and it was a great relationship. I mean, he was a great big brother. So.
Oh, that is amazing. Okay, they told me I could ask you just about anything from the book. So here's what I want to know. Dating advice that Elvis gave you.
Oh my gosh.
Well, he said, he told me, the first thing he taught me was, he said, women are a gift from God and they should be treated that way.
Oh.
And that's what I did. And you always open a door for them. You stand up when they walk in the room. You just treat them like they're a gift to you, because they really are.
Well, that's
So,
lovely.
you know, that's the way I've always treated them.
That's lovely. That's lovely. Okay, so you know, you said you lived in Graceland. You grew up with Elvis and everything, and then you went on the tour with Elvis. What was it like touring with Elvis?
For about a year and a half. The traveling part really wasn't for me. And I worked for him, like I said, for about a year and a half on the road, and it was kind of fun, only because I got to be with all of my brothers, Rick and David and Elvis too. So that's the fun part. I remember one time my rookie season, that's what everybody calls it. We were in Vegas, and I had to wake him up, and he wouldn't wake up. So I walked back out, and my brothers Rick and David were in the dining room. I said, would you help me wake him up? And they said, hey, man, we get you a job working for Elvis, and we got to do your job too. I said, come on, guys, just help me. So we walk in there, and they tried to wake him up. He wasn't waking up. So there was a vase sitting there that had where we put his water at night, and it was ice at first, and now it's just cold water. So my brother Rick picked it up, and we looked at each other, and he said, well, I said, if you do this, we're all in it together. So he threw the water on him. He jumped up. He tackled all 3 of us at one time, and it was a big wrestling match for about 15 minutes after that. And some of the guys come running in because they didn't know what was going on in there. They didn't, started walking up. They didn't know what the fight was all about, and they walked in. We're laying on the floor laughing at them.
That's a fantastic story. And one last question for you. We all heard the story about Elvis just giving people Cadillacs. Was that true?
Right.
Did he just give people Cadillacs as random people?
Yes, I mean, there was a couple just happened to be standing outside watching him buy some Cadillacs one day, and he had somebody bring them in, and they introduced him. And Elvis said, would you like to have a Cadillac? And the lady said, we just bought one. My car was in the shop right now. And he looked at the husband and said, well, sir, you pick one out then.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, my goodness. Okay, Faith of Elvis, a story only a brother can tell, is available now. Can we get it everywhere?
Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I got to say, you got me laughing when London, Kentucky.
London, Kentucky? As long as I make
I've
one
been
person
laughing ever since you said that.
as long as I can make one person laugh today, I've done my job. Billy,
you did a great job today.
Thanks so much for joining us, man, and sharing these wonderful Elvis stories.
Hey, thanks for having me on the show.
Thanks, brother.
That was great.